Hey, it's your pal Mike Shea from slyflourish.com and twitter.com/slyflourish, here with another episode of Sly Flourish's Lazy D&D Prep. This is a show shot 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays, in which I go through steps from Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master while preparing for my Sunday D&D game. This show, like all of the shows that you find on Sly Flourish and on YouTube and everything else, is brought to you by the fine backers of the fine patrons of Sly Flourish at patreon.com/slyflourish. If you want to help support the show and help support the infrastructure that it takes to make this video and lots of other odds and ends, you can do so by going to patreon.com/slyflourish and becoming a Sly Flourish patron. Patrons get access to a few different exclusive things, such as a adventure that is only available to patron backers called Regnum Ratus. They also get access to a new kind of thing I'm creating called adventure generators. These are sort of one-page sets of random tables built around a central theme to help you build your own adventures that are set around that theme. So we have like a Seven Samurai one. This next month, we're going to release a Heart of Darkness one. There's one for arenas. There's a general one for just sort of general adventures. And that's probably something where every month I'm going to release a new one of these generators that will be available to everybody who supports the show or supports Sly Flourish on Patreon. What else? So a couple of other things that the patron, and I want to thank those who are supporting Sly Flourish on Patreon. And a couple of things that I have added recently, both of which cost money. One is a Sly Flourish newsletter. So you can subscribe to the Sly Flourish newsletter if you go to Sly Flourish. Let's see, let's go do it right now. It's all the links are in the notes below, but you can go to, if you want to find it, you go to Sly Flourish, and over on the right-hand side is a newsletter. And if you click that, it goes to the newsletter. Put in your email address. You don't have to put in any other information. And every Monday morning, I think it's about 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will get the latest Sly Flourish article sent straight to your inbox. So thanks to the Patreon, the patrons of Sly Flourish, for my ability to do that. The other thing, I've never told anybody, I think I might have told some people in my Discord chat, is on Podbean. Let's see if I can find it. There is now a Sly Flourish podcast called Sly Flourish's Lazy D&D Prep. That is if you may be listening to this show on that podcast, because this is a rebroadcast of my Lazy D&D Prep, and actually all of the videos that I do are rebroadcast as a podcast. I'm just starting this up. So I had previously been, all of these had been going out on podcast form through the Don't Split the Podcast Network. My friends James Intercasso and Rudy Basso were hosting that for me. Rudy was diligently going through and editing them and getting them down to size, and putting intro music and everything into it. Made a really wonderful podcast. Both Rudy and James have decided to move on from the Don't Split the Podcast Network, and thus I need a new avenue in order to get these shows out. So I created this podcast. I set it up yesterday. And again, it costs money, and thanks to the patrons of Sly Flourish, I was able to afford it. And this is due to them. And it already has it has 30 episodes up already, all properly dated, from the last 30 videos of Sly Flourish. They go all the way back to session 0 of Eberron. So you can listen to all of the Eberron sessions in audio format. You can subscribe with your favorite podcast app and get it there as well. And that is thanks to the patrons. The one difference between this, a big difference between this one and the one that was on the Don't Split the Podcast Network, is these are unedited. So what I noticed is like they have a lot of dead space in the beginning. You have to get about 8 seconds in, and then the show starts. And they are not pared down. And because this show is largely visual, there are times where you will like be listening to me typing on a keyboard. And normally that would be edited out. In this case, it will not be edited out. So, but hopefully you can still enjoy it. It's still kind of a fun way to hang out and listen to somebody prepping their D&D game. So hopefully you like that. Again, you can subscribe on Podbean. I'm going to start putting links and everything. I want to make sure it all works first before I start advertising it too much. But this show's going to be on there anyway, so you might as well hear about it. So that's thanks to the Sly Flourish backers. I'll paste that in case anybody wants to subscribe or pass it around. I'll put that in the Twitch chat. So, in our last session, if you recall, I was using one of the adventure generators from one of those adventure generators I just mentioned to generate an adventure for my Eberron game in which they are traveling through Khyber. Give me a second and I will, let's see, it's in the patron hangout. And we go here and we'll go to adventure generators, and you can see them. I'll paste it. Let's see, where are we? Oh, I guess I pulled it up, right? You guys can see that? Yep. So that's the adventure generator front page. Again, this is available to patron backers. If you go to patreon.com, become a patron. In my note, and if you go look through the posts, one of the posts, I think it's the pinned post, has links to all of the freebie stuff that you guys get as patrons. But I picked the 7 Swords one. And so this is, it's got 5 tables you can roll on, sort of 10 options each for generating an adventure. And mostly its goal is to kind of get your mind as a DM working to build your own. And that's what I did. So in the version that I ran, a goblin village was under attack by a bugbear tribe known as the Black Claw Bugbears. The goblins are miners. They're miners of obsidian and miners of coal. And their village sits upon the lair of an ancient red dragon who is now dead. The ancient dragon, however, did leave an egg behind. And the goblins, it's sort of a presence thing. If you think about it like the lair actions or the regional actions of a dragon, that the dragon's mere presence made the area very useful for goblins. And so they... but the dragon died, so there was no defense, and the egg was there. And this bugbear tribe, known as the Black Claw Bugbears, have a menagerie of monsters. And the leader of the bugbears is desperate to get a dragon. Here he has a wyvern, but he doesn't have a dragon, and he wants a dragon. So he came by and told them, you vacate this area, leave, or we're going to kill you all, but we're coming for that egg. And the goblins are like, if we leave, we're going to just get killed here in Khyber. Like, the one thing we've got is we've got our home, and we've got the protection of this regional area. And if we leave, we're just going to get killed by we'll just be wiped out in Khyber. So we're not leaving. So they sent a small group out. The small group found the characters, and the characters were fighting a bunch of ghouls. And they saw the characters kick ass against ghouls and said, "You're the ones that can save us. Come and save us." So the characters all went to the town. They met with the elder. They learned about the egg. The town was very apprehensive about the egg, and because they weren't sure, like, the characters are going to steal it, right? Like, they might take it, but the characters said, "No, we're not going to take it." So they saw the egg. They went down and then they looked around the town and, like, what can we do? And I made it clear that they have a couple options, and both of these are like 7 Swordy sort of options. One was 7 Samurai sort of options. One was you can build up the town and try to defend the town from the onslaught when it comes. 2, you can go to the villainous base and try to dismantle the leadership there or try to get rid of it before the attack comes, or a little bit of both. If you ever watched the movie 7 Samurai, they actually go to the camp where the bandits are, and they manage to kill a bunch of the bandits and then leave. And then the rest of the bandits, it's kind of like kicking a hornet's nest. So those are all options. What I love about this scenario is it's a very open-ended scenario. It's very much a situation that you set up, and the players navigate it how they will. And the DM's job is just to make sure that the options are on the table, that they don't feel like they're railroaded. They have choices they can go, and you can keep kind of expanding on those choices. So I began the last session with them discovering that there were about 6 bugbear scouts with 3 axe beaks that were in a nearby ruin. And the characters made their way out to the ruin and fought the bugbears, stopped them from running back to let the rest of the bugbears know that the goblins had hired mercenaries. And so they stopped that message, but they also learned that that there is a goblin. One of the goblins has betrayed the village. They don't know who. And so information might be getting back already. So the group said, okay, never mind. We're leaving right now. We're going to go to the bugbear place and get there, hopefully before word gets back that the mercenaries made it there. And so then we had a journey where they went across. I think, what did they fight? They fought something along the way. Oh, was it carrion crawlers? I don't think it was carrion crawlers. It was like, what were they? Big nasty things. That they fought on their journey. They fought on their journey there. They found a huge stairwell, and they went up the stairwell, and along the stairwell were these creatures hanging from the ceiling that dropped down. I don't think they were, what the hell were they? Damn, I can't remember. But they defeated them. They made it to the edge, and then they saw down below was the menagerie, this former Dakani ruin turned into a menagerie by the Bugbears. And they saw that there's actually an underground river that goes underneath the ruins. So they had a choice of like, do we want to kind of go in the front door? They saw that there are about 8 to 12 Bugbears that were kind of lurking around outside the place. Or they could go through the under the ruins underneath. And they decided to go through the underground river. So I said, okay. And that was one where I didn't yet have an underground river prepared. But luckily, the thing I did do was I had them make their choice right at the end of the session and said, which way you're going to go, front door or underground river? And they said, we want to go through the underground river. And I said, very good. That's where we'll end today's session. So the next session is they're up on the cliff. And they are about to enter the underground river, which resides underneath the ruins. So we will start. And if somebody in chat, I really should set up a robot for this, but I don't know how to set up a robot for this. So I am using Notion as my for my game prep notes. There are previous videos where I talk about using Notion. I also have an article on Flourish talking about using Notion. Links to that are in the show notes. But throughout this, I know people are going to drop in and go, oh my God, what tool is he using? So if you would, please link to my article about Notion, and that will tell people what to do, because I always forget. So first thing we do is we have our session planning template. So we take this and we duplicate this. That gives us a new copy of our session thing. And we go into the session notes. We rename it to, let's see, 23, August 2020, Sunday, D&D, Sunday, Eberron. Thank you, Gondolar. You're the best. Gondolar will do the link. I'll give you the link just to make life easy. Notion. Using Notion for lazy campaign planning. There's the link. So I've got my adventure notes. So the first thing we're going to do is review the characters. If you are live on Twitch, you can, I'm using the D&D Beyond plugin so that you can go and review the characters yourself by, I think you can mouse over. You have to be on the PC version. You have to be on the web-based version that's on a computer. You can't be on an iPad or anything like that. But you can open up, you can mouse over, I think, and it'll bring up a little thing and you can see the characters for this campaign, which I thought was kind of cool. I am not going to do that. I am going to go here and I'm going to go to my Sunday characters. So we have, Zarentir. So Pat, my player Pat, is the one who runs Zarentir. He's been gone the last 3 weeks. So, and I haven't heard that he's back this week either. He's been gone for a while and I haven't been able to get in touch with him. So I'm not sure what's going on. Hopefully he will be back today. And if he is, I don't know how we're going to bring Zarentir back in, because the last time we saw Zarentir was falling off of an airship well away from here. So maybe he's, kind of a prisoner, or I don't know what we'll do. So we have Saber. Saber is a shifter, monk, bounty hunter, member of the Four Ways Monastery. So he is all about this thing. Boy, he got the tip of his quarterstaff. He has a collapsible quarterstaff, and he was fighting the Axebeak, and the Axebeak knocked the tip of his quarterstaff off. And the player Brian was really unhappy about the fact that his quarterstaff got damaged. And then I kind of made a mistake. He went to the goblins to get it fixed, and the goblins said, well, we can't fix it. We can kind of modify it a little bit. And they put like a big piece of wood on the top of it, and he wasn't happy with that. So he's still, now I have a feeling that every time we see anybody, he's going to be asking about getting his quarterstaff fixed. And I'm going to, first opportunity to be able to do so, he will be able to get it fixed. But he did get a cold iron quarterstaff in the meantime. Lightweight cold iron quarterstaff. It cannot be broken, and it cannot be melted. It is always cool to the touch, no matter how much heat. It's used as a pole to pull through lava. And it's lightweight enough, and it counts as attacking with magical weapon for the sake of magic weapons. Shift is one of the first Warforged, built in an alliance between House Kanath, Breland, and Karnath, the undead nation of Karnath. Her brother is named Crash, and she has crashes. Crash was a member of the Emerald Claw, and Crash's memory crystal is embedded in her head, and she can hear him. Shane Husk is a hobgoblin novelist who recently kind of reconnected with the hobgoblin tribe that his family was from back when they met them on the surface. So he's now down here, and he's kind of very interested in the Dakani and the other sort of goblinoid nations that exist. Banner is a warforged follower of the Becoming God. A paladin, kind of left his most violent ways. Doesn't have a problem beating the hell out of stuff with a sword, I'll tell you. But left his violent ways, or left the ways of the Lord of Blades, and now has more of an open mind. Arwen Chi Zizu is a member of House Civis, I think. Yeah, House Civis Dragonmark, Latent Dragonmark, and possessor of the double dodecahedron compass that can lead them to Claw Rift, which is where the Weapon of Mourning was created. So those are the characters today. And let us go back to our notes. So we go to our notes. In my Discord chat today, there some folks last night, you know, a lot of times the most interesting conversations happen at like 11 p.m. and I'm asleep. People were talking about how long it took to prepare a game, and some folks are saying, like, you know, I use the steps from return, but boy, they don't save any time. Like, it still takes a long time to prep. And I can understand that. And I'm not going to, you know, no one's prep is wrong. And if it works, it works. There's questions about, like, well, where is that time taking place? So I asked the person, and they said that scenes took a long time and locations took a long time. And I can see scenes taking a long time, or I can see locations taking a long time, but scenes shouldn't take that long. Like, you really don't need a lot. And I can almost skip it, right? I almost didn't have it in the book because I felt like, the rest of it, you know, scenes will kind of play out as they play out. And situation-based D&D, it plays out as it plays out. But I worry that people are using scenes as a way to kind of like build full encounters. And so my question was like, well, what's your word count when you're done? Like, it should be like a couple of words. It shouldn't be big paragraphs and stuff. So I don't know. And I'm not, this shouldn't again, like it's not up to me to tell people how to prep. You know, but if people are looking at exploring, one thing I would explore is that scenes should really be fast, right? Locations I can see being lengthy. Like, that can be kind of hard, but you probably don't need a lot of locations. And I think there's some kind of fast ways to build locations. So, Evil John says, my scenes need a sentence. Yeah, I can usually, because I have it in my head, so I usually, like, I mean, you see it here, you know, 2 or 3 words. So the characters on Overlook. Bugbear on Wyvern. The Bugbear Chief, right? So the Bugbear Chief on the Wyvern is flying. He's taking out. He's going for his morning. I should drink my coffee. I've got full coffee here that I'm not enjoying. So the Bugbear Chief could be taking his Wyvern out for its morning stroll. That could be fun. This could be like that scene in Lord of the Rings where Frodo and Gollum and his gardener Sam, they're all outside of Minas Morgul, and they see the armies kind of coming out of Minas Morgul, and they see the Lich King. The Witch King of Agnar, right, comes flying out on a dread wraith, or whatever those things are called, the big crazy flying wyvern things, and stands there and it roars and freaks everybody out. So this could be a little bit like that, but probably not quite as, you know, not quite as dramatic. But it'll be flying around, and the question is, like, will it see them? Do they hide? You know, what do they do to, you know, are they going to try to attack it? Can they hit it with a lightning bolt? If they attack it, I think they're gonna fly away and return back through to the and then they're gonna get ready. They're like, oh, we're under attack. So it'll alert them if they go there. And then we'll see, like, hopefully they don't change their mind and say, well, they're nowhere here now, so let's run in the front door. We'll have to figure out how that's gonna go. So scenes, I'm not really gonna do a lot with scenes today. They have the Wyvern flight, and then enter the underground river. And then steal into the menagerie. Right. That's pretty much it, right? I really don't need a lot for scenes. What was that? 30 seconds? So secrets and clues. What are some? So I need, what was I going to name that? I had a name for this guy. And I had an archetype that I really liked. Damn. What was it? It was a movie I just saw. Let me go to my notes from last week and we'll see. Old Adventures. And we will go with 16 August Sunday. Cran the Mighty was a Bugbear champion and leader. And I was basing him on somebody. I had a really good NPC. I'm going to just keep my other notes up. I had a really good NPC from a... from a movie. Who was it? It wasn't from Last of the Mohicans. Last of the Mohicans is a wonderful movie to take things from. Something I watched with Michelle. Oh, well, it'll come to me. So you have Cran the Mighty. He's a Bugbear champion and leader, and he's a reskinned... I think, was I going to reskin him as an ogre or a giant? Hello, kitty. Oh, don't short out the mic. Sometimes she shorts out the microphone. I think we were going to reskin as a hill giant. Yeah, I think we're going to reskin as a hill giant. So he's pretty tough, right? He's as strong as a giant, they say. And he is going to have, he probably has a hobgoblin devastator as a bodyguard or as a sage, right? So, that'll be a good one. Let's see if they have, I think they have hobgoblin names in Xanathar's guide. Let's go to source books. Let's go to Xanathar's guide. And we're non-human names. I think these are all dwarf names. Well, Osric. We'll just steal a name from there. Any name is fine. Osric the Hobgoblin Devastator. Osric the Devastator. Any other NPCs? Is there anybody lurking around down below? Could there be goblin thieves or other? What other interesting NPC might lurk down, either lurk in or lurk down in the beneath the menagerie in the underground river? Dire Wraith says it was a reskin Frost Giant. Yeah, maybe we'll go with a Frost Giant. The Frost Giant has an axe. So I think you might be right. And my players will thank you for reskinning a Frost Giant instead. They're badass. Yeah. 138, 2 great axe, 25 damage a hit. Woo! Yeah, that's fine. My players will thank you for for that. Damn, I wish I could remember Cran's archetype. Oh, it was going to be a good one. Oh, Khan, from Wrath of Khan. Although it doesn't really work. He can look like him though. He's got big gray hair. He's old and grizzled, but he loves his beasts. So yeah, not really. Let's see. So I don't know if I should have another NPC. Let's add one. So let's go to Donjon, and we'll go to our NPCs. 5th edition, random generator, and we'll go to NPCs, and we have a male tiefling monk could be down there, a female elf rogue. I think I kind of like this. Alatharis, female elf rogue, and maybe she's there, and maybe she wants something. But But what happened? Maybe she got wounded. She's pretty badly wounded. I hate having NPCs join the characters. It's something I don't like. But we'll throw we will throw a NPC down there as well. It's kind of funny. I should suggest to Donjon. Maybe I'll send an email or something saying for the NPCs, it would be really cool to either have the bonuses and not the scores, or something like that. Because like the scores don't really help me. But 0, +2, 0, 0, +1, +1. That's more useful. It's not going to say, is she Aranai? Tell me about Aranai. Remind me about Aranai. That sounds awesome. Oh no, it's Lino says, why do you hate having NPCs? I don't want to ever why do you not like having NPCs join the group? I don't want to take the spotlight away from, I don't want to take the spotlight away from the characters. I want the story to be focused on the characters. And if you have an NPC, both the DM and the players will have a tendency of all sort of shifting their lenses over to that NPC. The players like them because they can like take damage and they can do other attacks and sort of like freebie stuff. And the DM focuses on them because they're there. So like monsters are attacking them. So I really don't like nice little bit of regular expression there, John. I really don't like taking the spotlight away. It changes the challenge and everything like that. It adds a whole bunch of, it adds a whole turn. It increases the amount of time everything takes. There's lots of reasons why, but so I always have them come in either wounded or they're like, look, I'm not going with you. So I think there was a point where I almost had 2 NPCs join the characters, and I'm like, they might be able to join them in other ways. Like having new crew for your airship is great, or having people that hang out in your lair, or having people that go off on their own missions and come back and say, yeah, so I'll tell Bing you said that. That's different. Companion characters for solo games, for one-on-one games, totally different story. Totally. I played a one-on-one game with my wife Michelle yesterday, and for a one-on-one game, totally different. I love companion characters. I mean, I think you have to have them. I think it's a critical piece of running a one-on-one D&D game. That's different. And when you have 4 or 5 people, you don't need them, and then they just take the spotlight away. So there's definitely a balance there. So those are good for NPCs. I'm skipping by secrets and clues. So let's see, what is some of the secrets? Kron over his menagerie. Am I spelling menagerie right? I'm totally not spelling it right. Kron obsesses over his menagerie and always wants to add new creatures to it. Many of Kron's monsters, his pets, many of Kron's pets are dangerous to everyone. That's a good secret. The goblins have access to an ancient, I think we'll say a dwarven, right? We'll go with a Moor, M-R-O-R, Moor, the Moor dwarves, an ancient Moor gate that leads far to the north. So I think the goblins will take them there, and then they won't have to make this big long journey through Khyber. They'll actually be able to step through a gateway, and it takes them to this whole area. But they've been keeping that gate secret. What other? I think I like to put a little bit of, I think Orsic, the Devastator, thinks Kron is a fool and wants to take over the Black Claw Bugbears. So that, that could be found out by talking to bugbears and things like that. And maybe it's not just bugbears in here, but also some goblin assassins, right? That could be, The Bugbears have a small team of goblin spies known as the Little Claws. Who is the traitor? The traitor, the Elder's son. The goblin. And the Goblin Elder's son is named... Goblin name generator from Fantasy Name Generators. Strias. That doesn't sound like a goblin name at all, but whatever. Strias, the Goblin Elder's son, is the traitor. He is the one that gave it up. He believes it's time to move on and not spend their entire existence above this dragon lair. The goblin, so the goblin town was protected by the ancient red dragons territorial power. That power faded when the dragon died, and now the power will be restored when the wormling is born. What else do we have? 3 more secrets and clues. What other interesting things do we have? The Quaddle. I have no idea how to spell Quaddle. Let's go back here. Quaddle. Couatl. The captured Quaddle is cursed with a headband of lost intellect. So there's a headband on the Quaddle that has removed its intelligence and turned it just into a pretty rainbow beast, because it's very intelligent normally. It's +4 int, +5 whiz. Now it is like zeroed out. I guess it's the equivalent of a feeble mind. Intelligence and charisma become 1. I guess wisdom, but yeah, it doesn't matter if your intelligence and charisma are 1. So a headband of feeble minding. Quaddle's cursed with a headband of the feeble mind. What other kinds of anything interesting with the gates and the Moor holds? We can throw a couple bits of lore about the Moor dwarves. I was looking into this yesterday for my wife's game too. So the Moor dwarves, known on the surface, could possibly be the exiles of the deeper dwarves. That's one. No one knows where the Moor dwarves came from, but it may not even be from Eberron. I don't know if that's going to come into play, but you never know. I mean, those are pretty wide secrets, so we'll see if we get any other secrets. So now we need some whoa, that was weird. Why did it highlight far away? So let's go to locations. And I think in the Bugbear Menagerie, I added another map. Yeah, so I've got a river map underneath that'll work. So the real location, is the Bugbear Menagerie. And we're gonna do some stuff there. So NPCs, I'm good. Monsters, I'm deciding whether or not monsters are best placed in these notes here or put in the notes of the location. But I think I'm going to keep them abstract. So I'm going to put some monsters in here. So we have Bugbear Champion, which is a frost giant. We have a Hobgoblin Devastator. We have probably 6 Bugbear Veterans. And we basically just take the veteran stat block and reskin it as a Bugbear. And then probably 24 Bugbears. And maybe 4 Goblin Spies. Again, just use the Spy stat block. So that's kind of the main force. And then we have the Menagerie. We have a Wyvern. We have an Owlbear. We have a Quaddle. We have, what are some other, hey chat friends, what are some other interesting monsters that might be in the Menagerie? And we're actually going to split this up into, so we have Bugbear. These are the, what do we call them? Black Claw. Black Claw Bugbear Tribe. Then we have the Menagerie. So these would probably be mostly unintelligent beasts. Think along the lines of owlbears and stuff. A Naga, like a Naga would have escaped. A Chimera, yeah, I think I had a Chimera last time. Good one. And it's wild and untamed. And then we have the lurking. So we got really 3 different kinds of monsters. We have the lurking beasts of the underground river. We have the monsters of the Menagerie. And we have the Black Claw Bugbear tribe itself. A Manticore. And probably the Manticore and the Chimera are too close together. We could have Death Dogs. Maybe a pack of Death Dogs. How many Death Dogs? 4 Death Dogs? That'd be pretty great. His Hounds. An Otyugh. I mean, yeah, there's always room for an Otyugh, but I don't know. Phase Spiders, they would probably get away. Yeah, I think the a Remoraz. Wah! That's a little scary. Remoraz probably would have killed all the bugbears. A Flail Snail. That's not a bad idea. I like that one. I like that one if I could spell flail or snail. Cranium rats also probably would have completely overtaken the bugbears, right? Like cranium rats are pretty smart, especially in large numbers. A basilisk isn't bad. Did they fight a basilisk? They fought a gorgon. I don't remember if they fought basilisks before. I don't think they did. Catoblepus. Catoblepi are really great for hag lairs. You know, I love to have like hag lairs out in the swamp, the depths of the swamp, with you know, with a bunch of like Catoblepus lurking around, and they look with their gaze. I had them; they were pretty great. I think a basilisk. Or you know, a couple of basilisks would be basilisks down in the. Actually, I'm gonna put basilisks in the lurking river, and this we're gonna number. I want to build like a small random Grick. Oh, the Gricks. That's what they fought last time. Yeah, they already fought Gricks. That was what fell off of the ceiling and attacked them, and that freaked them out. They really. Gricks were fun. I hadn't really run Gricks before, and even against 7th level characters, Gricks were hard. I might move the Flail Snail down into the underground river. What other creatures? So you could have adder caps and face spiders. That could be a good one. A grell could be. I think a grell's probably too much. Like I want to do a grell in another area. Let's get. Let's see. Let's take a look. Pull out the old Lazy DM workbook and let's look at. There's a bunch of monster sets in here of different challenge ratings. I've done a bunch of jellies and stuff. I'm kind of bored of jellies. Basilisk is good. CR3 and 4. Giant scorpions, green hag, hellhound, knight, manticore, mummy, nightmare, owlbear, face spiders, quaddle, etten, ghosts, chul, lamia. Ooh, they already found a lamia. So now we're in the CR4-5 category. There's probably not anything of that powerful lurking down below. You could always have a giant crocodile. Could you do an interesting? Could there be kind of an angle on a giant crocodile? Because crocodiles down in the... Giant crocodiles are ruthless too. And this could be mutated, right? Let's do a mutation. So if we go to D&D Beyond and we go to sources, source books, Eberron. I think I have this open already. I've got it open in another window, but that's okay. We're going to go to Adventures in the Mournland. And I believe this one has a table of monstrous mutations. Grown to unusual size. Well, that's a giant crocodile. Develop magical camouflage. Proficient in stealth. That would be great. Stealthy camouflage. Infused with the kind of energy. You could have an energy crocodile. Acidic crocodile. God, that'd be awful. Ooh, a crocodile. A giant crocodile with displacer beasts. Eric, that is an awesome idea. So I think, yeah, God, that's terrible. I think giant crocodiles, they're pretty high challenge. They're challenge 5, but then you give them a displacer beast. Yeah, the giant displacer crocodile. Oh, oh. I'm sorry, my giant displacer. Cool. All right, so that's a good one. A gibbering mouther, that's not bad. Yeah, rest in peace. When they were like, a camouflaging displacer giant crocodile that's swallowing people. That could be really brutal. What else could we have? One more. I want one more lurking underground monstrosity. I'm not gonna run all these. I just want to have like a list of some ideas. Hook horror is not bad. I don't know what the hook horror would be doing lurking around down in the river. I think like having this underground river, some aquatic, some more. Oh, Dolgrums, right? Like I was gonna introduce Dolgrums. Yeah, I wanted some Dolgrums. So we're going to put them in here. Mutated goblins that have been mutated by the Daliker. Right, and I think there's like a couple that wandered around in here and got kind of lost down below. So we're going to have some... Okay. Cool. So I got my monsters. Treasure. Whoops. What happened there? So I want to... What does... I could go hardcore, but I think like they'll give it to the paladin and he'll just kill everything all the time. I was thinking of a belt of frost giant strength, to make up for the fact that the guy's reskinned frost giant. That's a 23, so that would give whoever gets it then would have. I love that every one of these is odd. What kind of dick made every one of these an odd number on their strength? So that's +6 strength. So normally somebody that will have a 4 or a 5. I'm gonna cheat. We're gonna let's see, because the character who would most likely, the character who most likely get it isn't here. So that's interesting. So who would end up taking it? Let's go to my Sunday game. And, aha, I already know. So, so Arwen, let's say, Banner would be the one that's got the highest strength. And I think he's already, so he's only a 16. So if they gave him that, that would jump him up. His attack would be really brutal. He's +7 to hit already. That would knock him up a 16 going to a 20. What did I say it was? A 23. So he would go from a +3 to a +6, which would give him +10 to hit. He would never miss with his attacks. If they gave it to Banner. So I'm tempted not to. I might, but you know, some bracers of ogre power. The belt that's also very rare. That's really yeah. So gauntlets of ogre strength. Yeah, are they gauntlets? The gauntlets of ogre power. So we'll throw a set of these in there. That's pretty good. That's a nice big beefy thing. And then let's throw, I always like to throw some relics in there. Relics are fun. So, Beacon of Hope, is that any good? What does Beacon of Hope do? It's not bad. All right. So we're going to have a glowing prehistoric idol that casts Beacon of Hope. That's kind of a fun relic. And let's do one other relic. Warm Gothic Key that casts Shillelagh. Grimy Dwarven Crown that casts Freedom of Movement. Freedom of Movement, is that really the right? What's Holy Aura? Oh, Holy Aura is crazy good, right? Do I have that one right? 8th level. Yeah, that's a super powerful one. That's crazy. I'm not giving them Holy Aura. The Grimy Dwarven Count that casts Spirit Weapon isn't bad. I think we'll do that one. That's a good one. And then we'll do another treasure hoard in here. Go to Donjon, go to Random Generator, go to Treasure, CR7 Treasure Hoard. And yeah, it looks fine. Some kind of interesting. I like the ones that have gemstones and stuff. This looks good. I'll grab that one. So we've got a good deal of treasure, right? Enough treasure to certainly make the thing interesting. Relics are a great way. These like single-use magic items are a great way to sort of add their vehicles for secrets. They, you know, you can tie a nice spell ability. They don't overpower the characters because you can only use them once. Are the odd numbers of strength there? So something that gives you a +1 strength still is useful. I think that overtakes your strength. So I don't think you can really boost up, right? You can't, I don't think there's any item you can stack on top of a belt of giant strength that will give you +1 on top of that. Maybe an ion stone. But yeah, when you put on an item that your strength becomes that, right? There's no bonus on top of that, I don't think. So that is solid. Now we got to go to the locations. So I already have like, you know, what beasts might exist. So I don't need much, but we're going to go up here and we'll click on the Bugbear Menagerie. And I really have sort of two areas here. I don't know if I can how do I, man, I need a thing. I need something between these two. There we go. Okay. So location. So we have the front door. We have massive. We're gonna do some. What are we gonna call these? I don't know. Locations. And we have massive hobgoblin statues. These front couple of doors, I'm gonna just kind of, I'm not gonna number them or anything. I'm just gonna kind of say like what's in there. There's that like murder, goblin spy murder holes. What would sort of be, what's that triangular room? A dining hall. Sort of a horrific dining hall. This room, let's see, where do the bugbears live? Where do they hang out? Probably in this hall here. And then this is the menagerie, and then this is Kron's quarters. And these are just sort of central halls. Again, sort of more sort of goblin statues. We have the treasure vault. Where does he keep his... so there's probably like an upper, like part of the ceiling is broken through, and that's where he can kind of fly his, fly the wyvern, right? And the wyvern is tame for him, not for anybody else. So, so that's pretty good. Anything interesting in this hallway here? Like, what would be a cool thing for that hallway? Old scrolls of the Dakani? I don't know. It's kind of tough. Something interesting that they would have in that hall. I don't know. I'll come up with it later. I'll leave a bullet. So then down in here, what are some cool things that they could find? So underground. Petrified statues. There's like secret things down here too. Webs, sticky webs. Twisted corpses. Primordial. Organic wall with eyes. That's to kind of get into the Daylicker. Like the Daylicker kind of sees them. Other kind of interesting things that they could find down here. What else? There's a lot of rooms down here. We could kind of tie a little bit to the monsters. Is there an altar? No, I guess that would be like the wall. We'll add an altar there. Ancient dwarven bones. What else could we put here? So we have petrified statues, sticky webs, twisted goblinoid corpses. Those are the Dolgrim. Primordial scratches in the walls, organic walls with eyes and an altar, ancient dwarven bones. That's 6. I'd love to have like 4 more. 4 more would be really cool. kind of weird things that you would find down. What were the monsters again? Let's go back to the monsters and see if that spawns any ideas. Flail snail, ettercaps, displacer crocodile, gibbering mouther, dolgrums, flail snails. I guess that's fine. I don't really need a lot of. I don't need a whole lot of location stuff. Archway that yells in goblin. Yeah, so like, let's see. So there's a couple of different sort of. What happened here? Why did this become untitled? Oh, I changed the name. Dope. So this is. There. Somehow I screwed up the title. Archway that yells in goblin. Sure. Yeah, it could have like a dormant Dakani gateway, right? That might be kind of cool. Old Dakani stuff. That's probably good enough. I don't think I need a whole lot. I'll there's not a lot of chambers that I want. I don't want them to have a whole bunch, and I'm probably not going to be using all of this. So that's all. I think that's all fine. The only thing I'd like is like to fill out, and I think we'll do like old Dakani library. We'll be in that hall, leading up to the murder halls, and that should be pretty good. So I think I am ready, right? How do I feel? I feel pretty good. I feel like I can run this session. I feel like I've got what I need. I've got my strong start. I've got my scenes. I got a good deal of secrets to reveal. And my plan for this whole thing is that they go there, they steal in the menagerie. I'm probably going to end it here. This whole like Seven Samurai thing, because it's already gone like 3 sessions. And the gateway to the north is kind of where it's going to end. You know, they'll find that gateway and they'll step through. And it's kind of my hope is that we'll get there. We'll see if that, we'll see if that's where it kind of ends up. And then they are off to, at that point, let's go to my other window, which I never used. I got it sitting right here. Oh, that's boring. I'll just use this one. Keep the other one being a pretty picture. Whoops. Sources, source books, Eberron. Go to the maps. Corvair map. And open that up. Oh no, come on. Oh, what did I do? There we go. So they wanted to get up to Arldusk. So I think that there'll be a gateway to the Thornwood, which is just north of, or underneath Arathon Keep. Gateway to Arathon Keep. And that'd be a good place for the game to end, as they step through Arathon Keep. And then they are much closer to where they need to be. And then we are all set. So I think we are all set for today. I've got my notes. I've got ideas. Most importantly, I feel like I've got what I need to be able to run a fun game. And so there we are. So I want to thank everybody for coming today. Always appreciate the company that you guys bring in Twitch. And for those of you watching on YouTube or listening on the podcast, thank you all very much. And I will see all of you guys next week. Have a great week, and get out there and play some D&D.